Hi ho, Ando here from Happy Life Martial Arts. Always a pleasure when we can spend some time together. Welcome to episode number 108 of Fight for a Happy Life, the show that believes even a little martial arts makes life a whole lot better. And that's true. Today, I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm in more of a rant mode than wise philosopher mode. But don't worry, I will present a problem, but I also have 3 solutions. That's overstating it. Not solutions, perhaps, but at least thoughts, hopefully to make the problem a little better. Let's get into it. What is the hardest part of self-defense? I'm not talking about training, so this isn't about remembering techniques or getting injured during practice time. This is actually something that you cannot train. Here it is. The hardest part of self-defense that you cannot train is knowing how far you need to go to be safe. So this is what I mean. A bad guy has a plan. Maybe they just want to scare you. That's fun for them. Maybe their intent is to rob you, beat you, rape you, murder you. The good guy has no idea what the bad guy's plan is. Pulls a gun, says, "Give me your money." So now I don't know, well, if I just give him the money, he'll leave me alone, I live, or is he going to shoot me anyway? So it would be better to make a grab for the gun. I don't know the plan, so therefore my decision-making is on hold. And even if the situation starts getting a little more intense, I'm never quite sure when to ramp up to the next level. So that's where we get caught, thinking, like, what's happening, right? Already the shock of some trouble is going on. Like, what's happening? Is this really happening? Most good people can't even believe these kinds of situations are coming up, that bad guys would do these things. Should I do something? What should I do? When should I do it? How far should I take this? These are all problems. And I think they're the biggest problems because they stop us from making decisions. This just goes under the heading of action and reaction. Which is faster? Action. There is a power and advantage to taking action. Reacting is always behind. It's always going to be a little weaker. Which leads us to what I call the good guy dilemma. Here's the good guy dilemma as far as self-defense goes. Trouble starts. If you, as the good guy, in response to that trouble, if you do too much, too early, you'll get in trouble. Maybe arrested, maybe judged by your friends, overreacted, you're out of control. On the other hand, if trouble appears and you do too little, too late, well, now you can be injured or even killed. That's the dilemma. Too much too early or too little too late. Now, in contrast, we have combative sports. Sports is a completely different situation, whether it's a karate or BJJ tournament or boxing, MMA, doesn't matter. First, you agree who you'll be fighting with. Both people know who's going to be part of the contest. Second, you both want to fight. You're both willingly entering into this competition. 3, you agree when it's going to happen. Okay, set the date, promote it even, bring my family even. 4, more germane to what I'm talking about today, you agree on the rules. You agree on what is going to happen, what's allowed, what's not allowed. In short, how far is this going to go? If anything goes outside those lines, then the whole thing will be stopped. We agree on the rules. In self-defense, none of that is true. First, you don't know who your attacker may be. They may be a friend or a family member who's suddenly drunk or crazy or enraged and turns on you, but I didn't plan on fighting that person. And of course, it could be a stranger. So I don't know who it is. Worse, the bad guy gets to pick who they want to attack. That's part of their plan. And a bad guy usually picks someone that they feel they have an advantage over, either because of size and strength, or because they're going to take them by surprise when they're not expecting it, or they have a weapon, or there's 2 or 3 of them. No matter how you stack it, the bad guy makes sure that it's not a fair fight. Not a fair fight. So right off the bat, that's different than combative sports. Second, you don't want to fight. The bad guy, that's his plan. I'm going to go start trouble. The good guy is walking around, I don't want to fight. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want danger in my life or near the people I love. So that's different. Third, I don't know when it's going to happen. If you're a good guy leading your normal life, nobody says, at 4 o'clock today, someone's going to mug you and maybe kill you. You don't get to know that. So I don't know who, I don't want to fight, and I don't know when. And then 4, I don't know how far this is going to go. What are the rules? Are you just trying to intimidate me to make yourself feel stronger today? Or you're letting off steam because the rest of your life is out of control? Or are you actually going to murder me? I have no idea. So therefore, creating a response to this trouble that I'm now sensing is very, very difficult. So sports and self-defense, these worlds are not the same, not even close. Now, the problem here that I'm describing, the good guy dilemma, is societal. It's cultural. Our culture says, at least the way I was raised, and I think most good people are raised, the culture tells us that it is not okay to defend yourself until it's too late. You're just not allowed to. If you're at school and someone pushes you and you punch them in the face, who gets in trouble? The puncher will get in trouble in most cases because it's seen as escalating. Well, he only pushed you and then you punched him, which of course is dumb because a push downstairs in front of a car, you fall down, hit your head on a curb. A push can be just as injurious as a punch. It's physical contact. And anytime there's physical contact, there is danger. You don't get to measure that by degrees. What about someone's just in your face and they're walking at you, they're crowding you, they're screaming at you, and you knee him in the groin. He doubles over. Now, who gets in trouble? You. Why? Because he didn't even touch you. He was just yelling. Oh, he didn't come that close. Oh, you didn't have to knee him. All ridiculous. All ridiculous. It's ridiculous to keep ranking trouble or danger in degrees. It's not fair that good guys have to follow the lead of the bad guy to see how this plan of theirs is going to unfold. And the bad guy knows this, by the way. The bad guy knows that this mystery of what they actually are going to do is working against the good guy. They know that. They know you don't know. That's where their power comes from. Even on a low level, maybe this has happened to you. It certainly happened to me. Someone starts to make you uncomfortable. Maybe they're staring at you. Maybe they're in your space. Maybe they even poke you a little bit or grab a wrist or something. Seems mild. And then maybe you react to it. You say, get off me. Or, hey, back out. You make a stand. And then they laugh. Dude, relax. I'm just messing with you. Really? Well, don't. Don't. To me, if you're messing around with somebody, you're signaling that you're a bad guy. Because good guys don't do that to each other. Good guys don't go around messing with each other. I'm not talking about trash talk. I'm not talking about pranks or having good, clean fun. I'm talking about intimidating, threatening, touching, hurting. None of that is what good guys do to other good guys. So to me, what's fair is if you're in a situation where you even have to wonder, what's happening here? How far is this going to go? Uh-oh. As soon as you're in that mindset, that should equal the permission. That should give you the permission, green light, to stop it, to do whatever you have to do to stop that situation right there. Now, that might come off sounding a little extreme, right? The guy's in your face, he hasn't touched you, and you get to just knee him in the groin. Yeah. The guy poked you in the chest and you punched him in the face. That's fair? Yes. To me, in this moment, yes. Am I talking about preemptive striking? Yes. I vote yes. Now, let me say right now, I am in no way a lawyer. I am not a police officer. I am also not a priest. So I can't recommend to you anything as far as legalities or moralities. Legal issues and moral issues are on you, your personal choices, your reflection. I'm just pointing out what would make a fair fight. It's already unfair that a bad guy has targeted you and decided to enact his evil on you. But if I have any chance in a self-defense situation, my best chance will come if I'm allowed to recognize danger as early as possible and take whatever actions I need to get out of that situation. That is fair. All right? I just want to make sure that's clear. I'm talking about preemptive escaping as well here. So it's not just preemptive striking. Preemptive escaping. As soon as I know there's trouble, if I can get out of there, get out of there. Take that course of action. Preemptive de-escalating. Somebody's looking at you like there's going to be trouble, and you can already make peace by offering to buy the beer or give up the parking space or let them get ahead of you in line. Whatever that's going to be, if you can preemptively de-escalate and let people know I'm not looking for trouble here, fantastic. I have a video that's on the same kind of topic. I believe it's self-defense tip, fight early. That's the tip, fight early. The big idea being the sooner you take action, the safer you'll be. The longer you let that trouble develop, the harder it gets to get out of it and the more serious the consequences usually are. If we think about this in terms of animal attacks, I don't think there's any legal or moral issues here. I think we'd all be on the same page. If you're in the ocean and you're swimming and a shark fin pops up right there, 6 feet away, 8 feet away, poink. As soon as that gray shape comes near you, I'm going to punch that in the nose, hammer it in the eye, start thrashing, making noise. I need to give a signal to the shark that I am not going to be an easy lunch. Maybe you do eat me, but it's not going to be easy. I'm going to go down fighting. Now, again, in fairness to the shark, I don't know the shark's plan. Maybe the shark just saw my shape and is just coming by, curious what's in the water. Maybe. Maybe it just wants to bite off one of my feet. I have two. Is that asking for too much? But maybe it wants to grab my leg, pull me underwater, drown me, and eat me completely. I don't know the shark's intention. I don't know the shark's plan. What I do know is once I've identified in my environment a killer, a predator, and now it's in my space, I know that I need to take the earliest action possible to best my chances of survival, to maximize my chances. That I know. If you agree with that, whether that's a bear or a shark, what about human beings? We are also animals. My friend, we are also animals. I say it should be the same with human beings. When a person in our society, where we have rules, we have polite society, if one of those lines of polite society is crossed, to me, that's just like a shark fin popping up out of the water. Boom. And that means, I've just identified a bad guy. And I don't know what this bad guy's plan is. All I know is bad guy. And like any predator, I need to treat that person with that respect of you're a killer, could be, or a predator, or could be. I just don't know how far this is going to go, which is the self-defense problem that I'm talking about today. I'm just trying to be fair. Is this fair to the bad guys that you're allowed to overreact? That you're allowed to retaliate immediately at the first transgression? Look, I say it's not about being fair to the bad guy. It's about being fair to the good guy. Isn't life crazy enough already for you? Am I going to get that job? Can I make money starting this business? Does he like me? Does she like me? Is somebody cheating on me, betraying me? Am I getting sick? Do the people I love, are they going to have success? Are they going to die? Life is crazy. More than ever, you know that. Why do I have to add on the possibility of being murdered, attacked in any way? Why do I have to add that to my list of things to worry about on a daily basis? I shouldn't have to. It's not fair that bad guys get this power to mess with good guys, and good guys are expected to just wait to find out what to do about it. That's not fair. So let me be clear. I'm not saying that good guys have a license to murder anyone they want. Someone calls you a name and you get to murder them. I'm not saying that. There's a large presumption here to my argument. The presumption is you're a good person. If you're a good person, then I trust your judgment to make good choices in a given situation. If someone's staring at you, that doesn't mean you get to take out a gun and shoot them. But it does mean you get to do something. And I believe that that something will be a minimum action, a minimal level action to stop the situation. And if that means jumping it up a degree, if we have to measure degrees of trouble, then you should be allowed to do that. Now, culture is not set up that way. This is the problem, at least for now. Maybe after this recording, we can start shifting momentum the other direction. Fairness for the good guy, not for the bad guy. All right, so in that spirit, here are 3 thoughts to help shift that momentum, to help make fights fairer, this fight for safety in life, a little fairer for the good guy. First thought. In your training, martial artist, you're most likely a martial artist, or you should be. In your training, include exercises to help you shorten the gap, shorten that timing that it takes you to identify trouble, label it, accept that is trouble, make a decision, whatever that is, and then execute on that decision. That's a lot of steps in there. But if you can't speed up that whole process, that's only going to make your life more dangerous. Even if we still don't know how far to go in our defense, everything that leads up to finally doing something has got to be faster. That part we can train. Let's say you're in a restaurant. You're sitting at a table with your family. Some dude staring at you, don't know him, staring at you from across the restaurant. And it gets so uncomfortable. You don't know what's going on. He's over there staring, gesturing towards you. You move. You move to a different table. They follow. They change positions too. They're still staring at you. Now they get up and they approach the table. You put your hands up right away and say, hey, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't want any trouble. You're using your words. You're doing what you're supposed to do. They make a threat. For whatever reason, they make a threat. You try to keep them calm, try to offer to buy their dinner. You try to keep them cool. You de-escalate. They don't listen. They keep threatening. Now they get closer and they touch you. They poke you. You back up. You give them space. You say, hey, I said I don't want trouble. You give them that space. It doesn't matter. Now they pull a knife. You grab their hand. They pull away. You say stop. They stab you. You grab that knife again. They pull away. You keep trying to grab the knife. They keep trying to hurt you. At no time are you thinking about hurting them. You're just trying to stop this because you still can't believe it's happening. Now you're dead. Another good person dead. Why? Because denial. Can't believe this is happening. Refusal to label a bad guy at the earliest moment when that shark fin popped up and this person was staring at you, which is not something good people do to one another. So right away, you know you're dealing with someone who's a threat, who's an actual predator of some sort. Also because not prepared to match or jump up a level of violence, of using your physicality to stop this person versus trying to just stop the knife or stop the whole situation. Maybe fear of getting in trouble is part of the problem here. Well, I don't want to make a scene, get kicked out of the restaurant. I don't want to get arrested for going too far, too soon, too much, too fast. And of course, finally, you were waiting to see the plan. You waited too long to see how far this was going to go. What were the rules here? What was this person's intent? He already had this knife in his pocket when he showed up at this restaurant. He was targeting you early on. Now he's over here stabbing you, even though you're doing everything you thought possible to prevent it. And now you see the plan is, he is going to stab me no matter what I do. And now it's too late. It's too late to defend yourself. All of this remediable could have been remedied by taking early action. Earlier action at a higher level at any one of those stages. The staring, the approaching, the threatening, the touching, the producing of a knife, the stabbing with the knife, the repeated stabbing. At any point, there was an opportunity to stop. I mean, sometimes life just doesn't go your way, but there was opportunities. So that may be a clumsy example, but I'm just trying to show that how many stages could be in a self-defense situation. How many opportunities there could be if you're prepared to up the level of your response to get ahead in the timing, to make the bad guy react to you instead of you waiting to find out what's going to happen. So my first thought, solution, perhaps, is to always train yourself to make the first sign of trouble in your environment, that first shark fin, the last sign of trouble. As soon as you know there's an unknown that is a threat to you, don't dabble in degrees of bad and say, well, it's not that bad. Well, no, we have to respect that it is all the way on. Take the early action. That's my first piece of advice. Number 2, my second thought, get involved. Get involved. If it was a perfect world, maybe there wouldn't be bad guys. All right, so slightly less perfect. In a perfect world, it wouldn't just be you looking for the shark fins. It wouldn't just be you looking for the first signs of trouble. Imagine if you're in that same restaurant and some guy is mad dogging you. He's eyeballing you from across the room. And imagine if everyone in the restaurant noticed this bad energy from this person, and the whole restaurant got up together. As soon as that guy stood up off his stool to come over to your table, the whole restaurant said, hey, where are you going? What are you doing? You're having a bad day, whatever's going on, but let's just keep it cool. No one's going to get hurt here tonight. All right? That sounds crazy because that's not how the culture is set up. Imagine you're on a bus. We've all seen these things happen, whether it's in a movie theater or a bus, at the mall, whatever. And you see someone being abusive to somebody else. Yelling, raising their voice, intimidating, just being a jerk, whatever, crossing the lines of polite society. And what do most people do? They ignore it. Wouldn't it be cool if we lived in a world where as soon as that bully, that bad guy makes himself known, everybody says, hey, stop. It just gets me excited to even think about how that would feel to the bad guys. Like, wow, if I pop up my little shark fin here and if people see what's going on, they're all going to come after me. It's not just one-on-one here. I'm not targeting one person. It's everybody. Everyone's going to be here. Bad guys don't like attention. Remember this. Bad guys don't like attention because they know what they're doing is wrong. They don't want witnesses. They don't want the crowds. So maybe instead of good guys alone, being afraid of gangs of bad guys. That's how it usually is. Oh, there's a gang of punks over there, and I'm by myself. That's frightening. Wouldn't it be cool if it was reversed, where a bad guy is afraid of a gang of good guys? They know if I cross the line and anyone sees it, they're all going to come after me. They're all going to step in and do something. We have to get involved. As good people, we need to get involved if we want to live in a more perfect world. But usually you hear the opposite. People say, I don't want to get involved. I've told the story on this podcast about my wife and I tackling that thief, and a big crowd of people just all standing around watching us for minutes wrestle with this guy. Nobody wanted to get involved. They just watched or walked away. And that's including the owner of the car who said, hey, stop that guy. Even he didn't help. That's how crazy it is. I've also told this story on an early podcast, The Blonde-Haired Warrior. One of my favorite examples. So many self-defense lessons in that episode. If you haven't gone back to listen to that one, The Blonde-Haired Warrior. The story of a young lady who lived down the street from us. We woke up in the middle of the night. She was screaming. Long and short of it is, she had just left her apartment, first level apartment on the ground level. She had just walked outside, and a premeditated attack. A man tried to rape her right in her carport. Her roommate was sleeping on the couch by the door. Heard her friend screaming and yelling, never opened the door. Scared, didn't know what to do, shock. I mean, I have sympathy. If people are not prepared, how horrible that must feel. But that's the point. We can train to get past that. We can train to get involved on some level. The golden rule here is if you want people to help you when you're in trouble, then you need to get involved to help other people. That's how we change the culture. That's how we change society, where it's understood if good people help good people, then they'll help you too. We all help each other. That's not really crazy, is it? It sounds like common sense, but in action, it's apparently pretty difficult. Not to say there aren't great people out there doing great things and putting their life on the line for others. Yes, of course, there are heroes all the time. I just wish it was more commonplace, that we hear those stories way more than the tragedies. So yeah, let's even lower the bar here. Because I can give you a couple of examples of people do get involved on a minimal level so that they can still feel safe. Have you ever seen a fight in a street? Two guys fighting, or whatever, two human beings fighting, and people just start honking their horns. They just, in their car, they don't have to get out of the car, but you honk your horn. Just to send some energy over there to let them know, hey, we see you. We don't like this. Stop. We're gaining attention to what's going on here. That's a great way, on some level, on a minimum level, to get involved without putting yourself in danger. I can also tell you something I've done before, because it can get awkward. I understand. I mean, getting involved can be awkward. You say, well, that's a domestic dispute. That's between a husband and a wife over there. Or that's between a parent and their kid. That's, I'm not going to get into whether they should be spanking or not. We get into these situations where well, I don't know. That's kind of their business. But in my heart, I feel I'm a good person. So what I've done in the past, and what I think can be done by anyone, is let's say you see someone being abused. And as a good person, I have to trust my intuition, whoa, that's not okay. That woman shouldn't be shaking that kid while the kid's crying like that. It's going too far. Or whatever. That woman shouldn't be slapping that guy in the face over there, screaming at him. I don't know what's happening. However, even if I just bear witness, to move a little closer, to stand and look, to at least let them know that someone is seeing this. Because again, most bad guy behaviors are private. Bad guys would prefer that they're quiet because they know they're over the line. They know they're abusing someone. So the very fact that you're there to witness it can be, not always. People lose their tempers or out of their heads. I get it. But it's better than nothing is my argument. To at least stand and bear witness. Yes, when this has happened, I would have someone say, what are you doing? Mind your own business. This doesn't concern you. Move along. And then I'm thinking, dude, you're in the mall. You're not standing in your living room with your kid or your wife. You're right here in front of me. You put yourself in front of me. So it is my business. You're in public. Just a counter thought. Third thought, all right? Don't be so quick to judge other people when they're taking early actions to defend themselves. You hear this all the time. People, especially with Instagram and all these videos that are out there, TikTok, whatever, and fights and people defending themselves and crimes, cameras caught on tape, all these things. And tons of people comment, oh, well, that's not what I would have done. Or someone said, well, they didn't have to do that. Why didn't he just do this? Why didn't she just do that? Well, he could have just done this. It's so easy to judge after the fact, because after the fact, the plan is more clear. Now we know who's involved, when it was involved, what the rules were, how far it was going to go. Now we know. But where's the sympathy for the good guy in those situations who had no idea what was going to happen? What? Remember the good guy dilemma here. Either you're going to get judged for doing too much too early, or you're going to get judged for doing too little too late. At least if you do too much too early, you'll have a chance of surviving. But if you wait, it may be too late. So again, I would love to see the culture shift towards sympathy and saying, yeah, I get it. If I was in that situation and I didn't know what was going to happen, I will do that. Now, I expect kind of ignorant commentary from people who don't train in the martial arts, people who don't study violence, maybe they don't study crime, they don't really think it through, they don't know how hard it is to restrain somebody who doesn't want to be held, they don't know how hard it is to stop somebody with a knife, they just don't know. So these are the people who say things like, well, he was just yelling, well, all he did was bump into you a little bit, well, he was just close, he wasn't doing anything yet. But martial artists should know. Martial artists should know what danger looks like. They should have accepted that there are bad guys out there and are very quick to figure out that's one of them right there. Don't let his plan advance any farther. And they should know how difficult it is to actually fight somebody so that that preemptive beat, that preemptive action, how valuable that is, that you're the one acting and not reacting. Martial artists should know that. So if we can somehow do these things, maybe we can change the culture to not only forgive good guys when they take early action, but applaud it. Applaud the fact that someone took the action to stand up to a bad guy right away, to try to nip that in the bud, instead of saying after the fact, oh, that's too bad. I guess there was nothing he could have done. Yes, there was. Earlier. He could have done something right away, and the whole thing would have stopped. If you're still not sure about any of this, if any of this is making you uncomfortable, one more little add-on here. Forget about you for a second. What if you're with your kids, or you're babysitting someone else's kids, and that shark fin pops up? What if you're with your elderly parent, a relative? Maybe your life isn't worth defending, but what about theirs? How close are you going to let this shark get to the kid, to your mom or dad? How much danger are you willing to expose them to? How many unknowns? How long are you going to keep wondering how bad this situation is going to get before you take some type of action to protect your kids or your parents or someone you love? I bet, as a thought experiment, you would take early action for them. I only ask that you would take early action for yourself as well. All right, so let's wrap this up. Self-defense is tricky. We agree on that, right? If we can all agree that we should stop bad guys, that's the first premise of self-defense, right? The good guys should defend themselves against bad guys. We agree on that. We can even maybe agree, if we sit down long enough over pie and coffee, on how to stop them. Use this weapon, use this technique, use these words, use these escape routes. We can prepare tactically, strategically. Got it. But can we also agree on when to deploy our weapons, our strategies, our tactics, our preparations? When? For me, just to sum this up, I believe we should all be training as martial artists, as human beings, to take early action. When that shark fin pops up, it has to be just like you're running in a race. That's on your mark, get set, and then if it progresses, go. The earlier the better. Don't wait till it's too late. Number 2, get involved. The golden rule of society. If you want people to help you, then you should help them. I don't even know what else to say. At least bear witness to the struggle that someone else is going through and let them know that they're not alone. Number 3, don't judge too quickly. Don't judge your fellow good guy too quickly. Instead of judging what somebody does, consider this. Instead of judging which technique they picked out, ask yourself, why are they in that situation to begin with? Judge the why, not the what. Why did they feel they had to do this in the first place? Oh, because there was this other person making them uncomfortable, pressuring them, intimidating them, threatening them. And that's why they did anything in the first place. They never would have been in that situation if the bad guy hadn't started it. So don't judge so quickly. It's just not fair. It's not fair. And life can be unfair enough. Again, I'm not saying that these are all solutions, certainly not perfect solutions, but it's not a perfect world. The best plan, the best advice I've got for you is to be a good guy. Do whatever you have to do to protect yourself and the ones you love. And then remember, you're not alone. You're not the only good guy out there. You are part of Team Good Guys. So if you can protect yourself and the ones you love and your fellow good guys, help protect Team Good Guys, then that hopefully will spur them to help you. And now we're closer to living in a perfect world. Okay, I'm done. I hope that gave you something to think about. I also hope it inspires you to take action, early action, to stay safe and build a happy life. Until next time, smiles up, my friend. Let that smile be your shield and your sword. Keep fighting for a happy life.